In the rest home on Dunbarton Street where my grandma Fern was staged, the nurses often asked her how she'd lived to such an age, and she'd spout the usual drivel about early nights and rest, until one day those platitudes grew stale within her breast. And so one night when once again the subject raised its head, she appraised her audience coolly, and this is what she said. "It's not my diet or exercise, or regular halibut oil, and it ain't 3 shredded wheat a day that keeps me on the boil. Ah no, there's something more profound that I've practiced all these years, for I fart religiously every day, till the wax pops in my ears." Well, amidst their gasps of outrage, Fern leaned forward on her cane. "But one more thing," she emphasized, "for I'll not tell you again. Make sure to purge yourself complete for a good hour every day. For retaining wind is a cardinal sin, and for it you will pay." Well, of course no one believed her, but she enjoyed their looks of shock. And she'd passed the time drinking dandelion wine and looking at the clock. And came the day, I'm sad to say, when I heard the worrying news that dearest Fern had had a turn and been taken by the blues. I visited her at the hospital, where she lay in a private room. The sun shone through the window, and a vase with flowers bloomed. She didn't look good, it's understood, but smiled at me quite gaily. "John," she said, "I'm not quite dead. Turn off that ghastly telly." "Now, John," she said, "I've called you here for it really couldn't have waited. I've missed my ablutions for several days, and have been quite constipated. And it worries me because, you see, without my daily fart, as sure as you are breathing will come the stopping of my heart." "But isn't that just a story," I said, "to satisfy the masses?" Fern tapped her nose conspirationally and winked behind her glasses. "Oh no," she said, "it's God's own truth, and I'm passing it on to you. But your daily fart must be done with care. Never do a poo." Now she held my hand and squeezed it, then pressed it to her cheek. "My time has come, dear boy," she said. "I am growing very weak. But watch me, John, and learn from this, then you'll live as long as me. It's not just mindless farting, no, there's an art to it, you see." Then she grimaced like a monkey, and stiffened on the bed. She gripped my hand ferociously, and a right bold oath, I said. A rumble like a steam train rose up from way down south. "Oh, here it comes," I thought with dread, and covered up my mouth. And then it came. The greatest fart the world has ever known. A cross between a depth charge and B-flat on a trombone. I'd never seen a human form get into such contortions. Then a force 10 gale assaulted me of biblical proportions, and with it came an evil smell, like month-old prawns and moss. You could tear the air apart in chunks like vile green candy floss. I stood my ground, I'm proud to say, but it scared me to my marrow. Behind the telly, God's own truth formed a radiation shadow, and the flowers turned black and the room grew dark till I could no longer see the sun. Oh Lord, what a simply horrible thing to emerge from an old girl's bum. In the center of this toxic cloud, I hunched against my knees. The curtains sagged from their curtain rails like bits of melted cheese. Wallpapered peeled from off the walls and lay heaped upon the carpet. But I stuck it out as best I could, and prayed to God she'd cark it. Well, an hour passed, maybe more, enwrapped within that gloom. Out of respect, I sat quite still and tried not to breathe the fumes. But then at last the worst was past, and she quietened by my side. I fancied a host of angels trumped as the poor old lady died. Now the moral of this story, if I may be so bold, is listen to your grandma and do what you are told. Embrace your bodily functions, they invigorate the heart. And always, always, for an hour a day, have a really, really good fart. Good night.